Thanks, Dave. Just one little point. I have to pick up on what you were saying about the spine and stiffness. It's this thing that we talk about all the time. It's the great point that Dave's made. Everybody thinks in sport. I know we're talking generally here. We'll come back to cycling very shortly. But the spine is mobilising. You're doing all sorts of willy-wobbly things. If you want to get the power from your legs, for example, whether it be a scrum, whether it be a sprint, if you've got this huge engine downstairs and you've mounted it on blancmange in the middle, all that power just gets dissipated and absorbed right here. So strong trunk, strong spinal position is massively important. You translate that to the bike and it becomes even more important, because if your trunk is soft and weak, it doesn't matter how strong you are down here, you're going to be dissipating a huge amount of your gains to nothing, into jelly. What do I do? Tap. Tap. Oh, man. Okay, so that's me, Dan Boulay. Got a master's degree in strength and conditioning, which is basically the science of sports performance. We're going to, it's a complex subject, it's very broad. I haven't been left very much time, thank you gentlemen. So I will go quickly but not too quickly, hopefully digestible, and then there will be time for questions at the end if I'm not too slow. So, why get stronger? It's really, really simple. It's a massive aid to injury prevention. Like the Hippocratic Oath, doctors do no harm. As strength and conditioning coaches, or strength and power, which is more what I'm interested in, is we want to prevent injury. That's the primary aim. Okay. All things being equal, the strongest athlete will always win. Fact. Okay. Did I say that right? Fact. Those who've been coaching on how I should say fact in Kiwi. Fact, apparently. If you claim yourself, everything's equal. If your claim is stronger, they will whoop your ass. End of story. We could bring out all sorts of paper quotes, all sorts of wonderful peer-reviewed research, but you're just going to have to trust me, okay? That's why we want you to get stronger, okay? Because then maybe you'll win. The key, what we all want to know, this isn't tap, it's like hit. Ugh. I'm tapping. Oh. Have I gone two now?
You're too strong.
Can you take me back one? So, what is strength?
One more.
Thanks, Dave. So, what is strength? It seems like an obvious question, but we need to understand it just a little bit to better get a picture and appreciate its relevance, particularly to you guys as cyclists. So, it's quite simply, in simple terms, the ability to exert force. Now, when we talk about strength, particularly with a group here who will be obsessed by how heavy they are, because they want to improve their power to weight. Little anecdote, lovely chap walked in, I won't give any names, Mr. B, we'll call him, came in about 6 weeks ago, proudly carrying his bike. He says, oh, I've changed, I've done the widget bob thing here, and I've done this, I've done that. I've taken 25 grand off my bike. And let's be honest, how much do you weigh, Mr. B? Oh, 18 stone. So let's think about stripping down some of the body fat, because mass is an issue for a lot of cyclists. And I'm going somewhere with this. So when we start talking about strength, there is this perception, there's this entrenched, ingrained, emotional thing that if I get stronger, I'll get bigger. My muscles will grow. Potentially they might. We're gaining what we call functional mass. But primarily what we're talking about is a neural issue. And when we say that, we're talking about the muscle mass that you have right now. You need to train yourselves to access more of that muscle fibre, to be able to switch more of it on. And thus, which was nicely brought up by James, your economy and your efficiency will improve, because for the same amount of effort, you're actually dropping your thresholds. Along with that goes intermuscular coordination, which is how you coordinate between one muscle and another. And I also should have put on there intramuscular coordination, which is neural stuff within the muscle itself. Okay, so how do we get stronger? Primarily, we need you to work under load. Now this becomes very subjective because we will regularly test cyclists, do a very basic FTP test. We've got some great cycling coaches down in there, Chris and Anthony. Hello Chris, ex-pro triathlete, good man. And we find that cyclists come in, they're keen, massively enthusiastic, and forgive me, I'm an ex-soldier, they're weak as piss, okay? And so we have to look at working them under load. That load, for you as an individual, might start with your own body weight, and we'll look at that in a moment. Or it might be that we get, in a very brief period of time, get you squatting your own body weight, and more, and a lot more. What this does is improve your total recruitment of muscle fibre. So we'll talk about a continuum, but we talk about what we would perceive strength training is, which is an athlete, i.e. you guys. You've all got bodies, so you're all athletes as far as we're concerned. We get you under a bar, we get you lifting a bar, we get you lifting heavy loads, maybe only 5 repetitions. And by doing that, we want to drive this neural adaptation so that we start to force your body to recruit more of the muscle fibre that you already have. So it's the same engine, turbocharged. Now along with this, we have a sort of rehab and injury continuum, and this ties in with what I was talking about when somebody first arrives with us here, is what is strength training for them. It could be a walking lunge. It could be lying on their back doing some glute bridging. Because to tie with what David said, first of all we've got to get you balanced, we've got to look at what structures are working, what ones aren't, and squatting, power movements we'll talk about in a moment, deadlifting, all the big movements that we know provide the biggest adaptations might be out of reach at that moment in time. So what we have to do is train you to be able to train. And that's another concept that people struggle with, is that often what we do as strength and conditioning coaches is we're not only training you to perform, but we're training you so you can train to train. We've got 3 trains in there. You've got to do these exercises so you can do that lift, and so you can do this lift over here, so then you'll get some adaptations on the bike. So there is a continuum. With the rehab and injury continuum, first thing we want to do is make sure everything's working, everything's activated. Any injuries that are discovered, or historical injuries, that we then look at working you through those, probably start on body weight, and then finally we finish on load. I think I've got some figures at the end from some cyclist people you'll recognise.